Nina Turner, she was a former Ohio State senator, ran Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2020. Hell, she basically moved to South Carolina for Bernie Sanders and did a terrific job and is still very active in the progressive movement. Nina, how are you doing today?
Good to join you, Jordan.
Thank you. And plug, thank you for joining me for my book launch last week in Cleveland. So that was very nice. I wanted to start with a clip from last night because, I mean, if you look at the media reaction, AOC was kind of the star of the DNC convention. I want to play a clip from her speech last night.
We have a chance to elect a president who is for the middle class because she is from the middle class. She understands the urgency of rent checks and groceries and prescriptions. She is as committed to our reproductive and civil rights as she is to taking on corporate greed. And she is working tirelessly to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and bringing hostages home. And I, for one, am tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day to lift working people out from under the boots of greed, trampling on our way of life.
So, not trying to get you in trouble, as you know, because obviously you are.
I doubt that, Jordan. You always trying to get me in trouble. I want our viewers.
First, I do need to start. I mean, just factually, I really don't know what AOC meant by the vice president has been working tirelessly on a ceasefire in Gaza. I mean, she has expressed more sympathy for the Palestinians, but obviously Biden is the president and he's running the show. What were your thoughts on that? Because I don't. That seemed kind of hollow to me.
I was in the hall. I am a member of the Ohio delegation of the DNC. Ended my 8 years right now. This will be it for me. I can't stand it anymore. That was over the top. You know, it's one thing to say that as somebody in the first chair. I mean, the vice president has softened the rhetoric. Her rhetoric has been different than the current president, but it's a stretch. It's more than a stretch to say that she's been working tirelessly to do that. Since she started running for president, since then. I mean, you and I mean, you're on the ground all the time. I'm talking to people all the time, and that's not the feeling. I talked to some leaders of the uncommitted movement last night, and they're trying. Some people are pushing on the inside, as you laid out. There are many pro-peace, pro-humanitarian protesters on the ground in Chicago, putting their bodies on the front line. You don't have to lie to people or be over the top, because that was just a flat out lie. So yeah, Jordan is trying to get me in trouble. I can't abide by this. You know, it's bittersweet. I had a reporter ask me yesterday to describe the feeling in there. There are a lot of people who are excited. It's palpable. The current president is out. You got the vice president in, and some people really feel good about that, and that's okay. I'm not going to rain on their parade. But Jordan, we don't have to exaggerate, and we don't have to borderline lie. It would be different if she said that this vice president, as she is running for president, plans to center the pain of Palestinians in a way that has not been done under the current administration. That would be acceptable. But to say tirelessly day and night while you got 40,000 people dead, while you got millions of people living in famine, where you got babies whose heads are being blown off and parents who have to bury their children first, which is out of the order of the way Mother Nature usually works. The fact that the Democratic Party has such a cavalier attitude towards the pain of our Palestinian sisters and brothers and family and friends. It is obvious that that is the case. And it just pains me that people feel like they got to get up there and lie.
Right. And I'd love your thoughts, because it's not your first rodeo, not my first rodeo. And a lot of these conventions, frankly, campaigns are more marketing and branding exercises than substance. But AOC, it was a good speech, but she really tried to portray Kamala Harris as a fighter for the people, champion of the working class, et cetera, et cetera. It's not for me to tell people who to vote for. Trump is certainly none of those things. But you just mentioned don't lie to people. And I mean, I know her record. I don't really know what in her record is fighting for the working class. Biden, we can be honest, has done some good things. It's not all horrendous. And you have to give her credit for those things too. But I don't know, as a senator or as attorney general of California, or now as vice president, I don't know what AOC was referring to. This is not, I'm not asking you to take a piñata to Vice President Harris, but it seems more like that was a speech rather than her actual record.
Yeah, I mean, inquiring minds want to know. So if there's a record out there, because elected officials do many things sometimes that people don't know. I know in my active elective service, certainly I've done many things that people may not necessarily be aware of. And Jordan, I want to say, she said middle class and not working class, and some of our viewers are really pointing that out. It is imperative that we talk about working class people, poor people, and the Democratic Party has proven itself campaign after campaign too afraid to say the word poor or too afraid to say the word working class. The middle class barely exists. I know everybody wants to say that they're in the middle class, but when you talk to people on the ground, they are feeling the pain. 60% of 60% of Americans have said that they are living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of renters say that they can't make rent. We have allowed corporations to buy up real estate, for example, driving up rents in this country, something that is an abomination, and that it will take the federal government to stop this siege on the property so that people will be able to afford to live. So we can go on and on. So Jordan, if there are some things that the vice president has done pointedly for working class people, then we should know that record. No, I'm not going to take a piñata to her. I'm actually out there, and I want to encourage our viewers to read some of my Newsweek editorials, and they don't always have to agree. Sometimes you're going to say ouch, and sometimes you're going to say amen. It doesn't matter to me. I just want people to think. And what I am trying to assert here is that the progressive wing of the party was never going to get our candidate. We had our candidate run twice, and the neoliberals of the Democratic Party, Jordan, as you know, and our viewers know, stopped him both times. So there was no way on God's green earth that they was on 4 months going to let progressives have a candidate. We certainly played a role in getting Governor Walz. It was between Walz and Bashir for me, out of the people that she had to choose from, because it was a narrow list that she had to choose from. Let's tell the truth. We tell the truth in the independent media. And out of that narrow list, those two rose to the top for me. Bashir being the governor of Kentucky, Walz the governor of Minnesota. Glad that she picked him. So Jordan, I've been trying to frame this, much to the chagrin of some progressives, as an opportunity. And I really want to believe that in my heart, that once she is in the first chair, she will do something differently than what the Biden-Harris, when you're the vice president, you got to roll with the president most of the time. You have to. That's the nature of the job. In first chair, though, what I want to know, will she do something differently? People can have a cavalier attitude about the carnage that is happening in Gaza, but damn, Jordan, but by the grace of God, that could be any of us. And this convention is bittersweet in that I don't understand why the Democrats won't just flat out say embargo on bomb. We're not sending you no more. And we need a permanent ceasefire. That's where the majority of the Democrats are if they want to look at this electorally. And that is where the majority of the American people are. But we can't get these feckless politicians. And just one more point, Jordan. If people, if all of us could imagine being in the middle of the ocean and need somebody to come save us, and I don't want this for anybody. But I just want you to imagine. That's why I'm trying to get the visual. If you were dying, like drowning in the middle of the ocean, do you want people to have to do focus groups before they try to come and get you? Do you want them to run it past their owner donors before they come out to save you? Do you want them to figure out, is it politically correct to come and save you? Do you need them to figure out whether your life is worth being saved? Or do you want somebody who will throw caution to the wind and who will radically come out there no matter what nobody else has to say and come and save your life? That is the situation that our sisters and brothers in Gaza are facing right now. That is the situation of our sisters and brothers in the Sudan. And damn it, Jordan, that is the situation of far too Americans in this country. So don't get up there and lie, Democrats. Just say you understand the assignment now and you're going to do better. Jordan, I think people would have more respect if we had leaders who would say that. And the person who got the closest to it last night was Reverend Warnock.
Absolutely. Leading into the next question, I want to read this statistic because I kind of think it says it all. From 1970 to 2018, so we're basically talking 50 years, the share of aggregate income going to the middle class households fell from 62 to 43%. Over the same period, the share held by upper income households increased from 29 to 48%. And then you have the chart that we've all seen with that red line just skyrocketing up. And that's all the money, all the wealth going, to Wall Street and all the special interests and Jeff Bezos and the Waltons and et cetera, et cetera. So my question is, this is we're on a decade journey from 2016 now to almost 10 years. A lot of people, as you've seen, in a fractured left-wing progressive movement are just tired of trying to work within this party. And they kind of see it as a fool's errand, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. Some people, I believe, just want to burn it down without the number to the fire department. But right. Part of what I want to do with these shows is a roadmap forward. What do you think is the roadmap forward? Because a lot of people say, well, I held my nose in 2020 and, there were some good things, but structurally nothing has changed for me. I don't want to keep holding my nose. But they see third party as a struggle and they see kind of stop signs every path they take. What's your message for the progressive movement? Because right now it's a lot of silos and people on their own islands and doing their own thing.
Well, the fight for justice is always going to be a struggle, Jordan. So that's the first thing we have to resign ourselves to. We have to have the intestinal fortitude to know that when you are fighting for justice, it will always be a struggle. And for every gain that any generation of freedom fighters have won, there will be on the opposite end of that. We learned in science, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Unfortunately, there will be an opposite force that will continue to try to push us back. That force is mainly political. It's not just Republicans. We see it in the Democratic Party itself. So the first thing that progressives have to do is ready ourselves to know that it will always, and I mean always, be a fight. And it is a generational fight. And each generation passes the baton to the next to really advance, keep the lead and advance the lead. And then Brother Killer Mike said it the best. We got a plot, plan, strategize, mobilize, plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize every single time on every single issue. Hello, somebody. It's never going to end. And justice is a journey. It's never a destination. We need to be more organized. We need to play chess instead of checkers. We need to stop all the damn infighting, right? Because while we're infighting, the other side is winning because they've been at it longer than we have. We have got to find those top 3 or 10 things that we agree on and stick to it. We got to hold people accountable. We have to make a demand. I know some people are saying the party supports genocide. Yeah, it's proven itself to do that. I will tell the truth right now. The Democratic Party has not done any, and neither has the Republicans, Jordan. Let's not let them off the hook either. Neither party has done anything to stop this carnage. They playing in our face. And so that is why it's even more important for the progressive wing of this party, if you choose to stay in it, to continue to push. Progressive Democrats of America are trying their best to be the ones, the Working Families Party, maybe between those two entities, certainly Our Revolution. But we have some spectacular organizations that are rooted PDA. As many of us know, they're celebrating their 20 years. We have some infrastructure there. We just need the majority of progressive organizations and movement leaders to come together on at least 3 issues that we will stay together on and not be divided, and hold and push the line no matter what. The labor movement is another incredible space where we can seek to build solidarity, hence my organization, We Are Somebody. So Jordan, we have the apparatus to do it. It's whether or not we have the willingness and the discipline to do what we know is necessary. And I do firmly believe that we can draw upon the work, just put some 21st century on it, but draw upon the 20th century justice and liberation struggle of the civil rights movement itself. We forget that the March on Washington, it was not necessarily a civil right. Civil rights was part of it, but it was jobs. and freedom. Don't forget that. And so I see an incredible opportunity between labor and civil rights. If we could thread that needle together and put some 21st century on it, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish. I do understand people are getting weary. Hell, I get weary sometimes too. I just want to say, as one of the good books says, don't get weary in well doing. I know it is incredibly hard. We all have a role to play, and not that I'm the best person to give. And yeah, AIPAC is a threat. Hell, all of these dark money groups are a threat. Don't get me started on that. I just feel like we need to recognize all of us have a role to play on the field. And if we were a football team, for example, somebody's the quarterback, somebody's the cornerback, somebody's the running back, somebody's the kicker. We all have a role on the field to play. And if every player is playing their role, no matter what it is, their position, then that is how the team wins. And for me, the progressive movement has been so immature. I mean, we're young. It was brought about, it was hastened, the 21st century version of a progressive movement was definitely ushered in by the candidacy of Senator Bernard Sanders. We are young. We cannot continue to base the movement on one personality, whether that personality is Senator Sanders or whether that personality is Senator Nina Turner. We do need leaders, though, that will take the message on the inside, but really the fight is on the outside.
And my last question, and I named this segment Hell Oh Somebody, because you call yourself a freedom fighting hellraiser.
I do.
I'm not looking for a soundbite, but I'm just going to ask directly. Holding people accountable would include progressives who a lot of people watching knocked on doors for, et cetera, whether it's AOC, other squad members, hell, Bernie himself. They might share our values, but if they are not going to push aggressively enough, if they're not going to leverage votes, if it seems that, they might be working a little longer term strategy, do you believe that they should be held accountable too, whether it be primaries, protesting outside their offices? I believe we cannot be holding people up as heroes. Got to hold everybody accountable. I'm not just AOC, but all of them that are running on Medicare for all progressives. If they're not being aggressive enough, if they are not bringing the ruckus to the Democratic Party, should they be held accountable?
Yeah, everybody needs to be held accountable. Those of us who hold elected titles and are supposed to do the bidding of the people absolutely are supposed to be held accountable. And Jordan, let me digress a little bit. I see some sexism permeating in this thread. And so I just want to say to anybody, you might not like certain politicians, but it's totally unacceptable to say that Vice President Harris laid on her back. You are a fool, okay? And I'm about to say some other four-letter words, but I'm keeping myself from saying it. You might not like her politics, but that is out of line. It's out of line. And see, our movement can't accept that. And I don't even know if this person's part of the movement or whatever, because I know we got frenemies in here too. That is beyond the pale, Jordan. And I'm about to start cussing here. It's a damn shame. Don't do that. Just stay on the policy. Stay out of people's personal lives.
I agree.
Okay, back to what you had to say, Jordan. Everybody should be held accountable. Everybody. And I don't want us to fall so in love with politicians that we don't hold them accountable. See, that's what I don't do. I don't worship the Democratic Party. I'm in it, but not of it. I worship God. I am a faith woman, as you know, Jordan. But I serve the people. So no, nobody is beyond being held accountable. That is how we get movement. I'll never forget. And let me just give people a little bit of a history lesson, but I want them to go and do some more research. That even with FDR, the New Deal, and we know that the New Deal left out Black people. Okay, FDR was not a perfect president. Nobody is perfect. He moved this nation, though, in ways that somebody of his wealth, if they didn't have that kind of consciousness, if they didn't have Eleanor Roosevelt, people in his ear like that, he may not have done it. He was forced to do those things. And Asa Philip Randolph went to the president to talk about desegregating the armed forces, to talk about making sure that Black people could get some of those federal military jobs. And basically, FDR told him, make them do it. Make me do it. And Asa Philip Randolph, one of the greatest unionists of the 20th century, you guys need to read about him. He is the author of the march. He first decided to organize a march on Washington in the 40s. And because World War II was raging, FDR didn't want that smoke. So even though Asa Philip Randolph did not get everything he asked for, he got more than what he would have gotten had he not made a demand. See, he wasn't enamored by having a conversation with the president. He didn't get seduced by wanting to go to a damn Christmas party and be on the list. He said, these are the things that I need. And Mr. President, I need you to do them. FDR said, you got to make me do them. He said, okay, Mr. President, I got you. I tell you what we're going to do. 100,000 black people going to march on Washington. That was powerful, Jordan. So we need more leaders who care. You know, I often say titles are good, but purpose is better. We need more purpose-driven people, whether they are actively elected or not. But people who hold the people's power, you absolutely have a right to challenge them. That don't mean you don't like them personally. This business. And voting is a transaction. And we, the people, should get something in return materially for our vote to uplift and strengthen the social contract. I'm tired of these politicians being called superstars and all that. No, the hell they are. They are supposed to be serving the people. And when the people we support are no longer serving us, we need to have a conversation with them. And if that doesn't move them, then damn it, there has to be a consequence. One consequence is, primary. Another consequence, hey, making sure they don't get back. But they're not just going to do it because it's the right thing to do. Some people do, but mainly they're going to do it because they're forced to do it. We are that force. So stop falling in love with these people.
Absolutely. And we going to see anything from you in the near future in the political arena, or you're kind of retired?
Jordan, you cannot help yourself, can you? I can't tell you how many people have stopped me at that United Center asking me to run again. Am I going to run again? I got people asking me to go move to California, come to Chi-Town, run in Cleveland, run for Congress again. We will see. But I will say some of and you were on this journey with me, Jordan, and some of the people on here know how painful it was to be maligned in the way Ohio 11th was the canary in the coal mine for what just happened to both Congress members Bowman and also Congresswoman Cori Bush. It was definitely painful, no doubt about it. When you are the first, the shots and arrows come at you. I do want people to know that there are other ways to really move the needle for justice, and I'm just doing some soul searching with myself as to whether or not that means I have to be actively elected again. Some of the people we admire the most are people who never held elected office, like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., like Minister Malcolm X, even though Eugene Debs did run and they locked him up, that's a whole nother history lesson, but like Eugene Debs, like Mother Jones, and so many others. I'm leaving out some folks and I understand that. So, Jordan, I'm just trying to figure out what is my best position and what is my highest and best use right now. I am not ruling out that I will run. I know 2028 is coming. So I got people saying 2028, here we come. Yeah, 2028 is coming one way or another. But I am doing a lot of soul searching, regardless of whether I ever run again. I just want people to know that I will continue to be on the front lines. And I understand people might not always agree with what I say. They might not always agree with my tactics. I am not asking people to be blindly loyal. I just want people to wake up, Jordan, and to think for themselves, to be critical thinkers. That's what I want.
Thank you very much for taking the time. And I know you're in Chicago, so
I am on my way back. I am a delegate, as I said, my last hurrah. So I am going to go over there. I know you got to jump to other people. People saying that voting for Dr. West is a waste of time. Hell to the no, it is not. Stop doing that. People have a right to vote for whoever they want to. This is the United States of America. When people do that kind of stuff, you fall into a trap. Jill Stein has a right to run. Dr. Cornel West has a right to run. RFK Jr. has a right to run. Marianne Williamson, over and over again, name. This is America, and people should have a right to run. So those who feel like they're not getting what they need from the duopoly, you have some other choices. Jordan, and I know there's some trolls in here too. I know there are people that's trying to provoke and stoke, but I want
that's how you know you're growing, when the trolls come.
But I don't want people to get caught up in some of this food and this nonsense. So much love for you, Jordan, to Jay. To the entire team that put this on and gave space for progressive voices. I truly, truly do appreciate you all. And I can't wait until next time.